All of us want to be more efficient, and it is quite easy to be more efficient, just because we are ourselves. So half of people are just neutrals, or they don't come to work, spend time there, and don't care. We need transparency. We cannot expect from our people to make good or the best decisions when they don't know the context of the company, the decision making, that because we cannot vote, because we know from the democracy that voting is not efficient and is quite wrong, because knowledge or experience doesn't matter. So we need some other approach. Easy concept, but it's like agile, but not for the projects, but for the whole company.
So guys, we will have a next presentation about Teal organization, and I would like to welcome you, Adam.
This part I have doing with Radek, and I'm like more a theory guy. Radek will say more about practice, and I think that I hope that after lunch we will be able to not sleep. And so so first of all, I will tell about Teal organizations, and I have a question for you. Who of you know the Teal management? Yeah, some of you. Okay, it's not so bad. Okay, so but before I start, I want to tell you about Gallup research. It was about levels of engagement of employees. They conducted this research for many years in many countries, especially in the United States and Europe, and they have always the same results. Only the numbers was a little changed, but they get 3 types of employees only. The types in case of engagement. First one are the engaged employees, so that one who are interested in what are doing, they are passionate about their work, and so they are the best workers. The second one are the not engaged ones, so the neutrals, so they are just going to work, do work, but they don't care what happened otherwise. And the third group, we have disengaged people who we can call them the disengaged, the saboteurs. So they do political games, they are in rat races, and they want to prevent others with succeeding in work. So we have 3 types of employees. And what do you think the population of them is generally? What? How many engaged people we have in community? 30%. 30%. Quite good. Yeah. one in 3 of people are engaged at work. So the best ones who are engaged, they are passionate, and they want company to succeed. They want themselves to succeed. 1 in 3. What about not engaged? 40? 60? Any guesses? 50. So half of people are just neutrals, or they don't come to work, spend time there, and don't care. So as you know, 1 in 6 people are these saboteurs who actively prevent company succeeding. Maybe in some other company they will succeed, but in that environment they are demotivated and they don't care, and they even do harm. So this is like that's research. So this is true in every year. So this is the problem, and we have to change this and let's think why is that. And I think that we have to go back to the beginnings of the 20th century, when the people started to do business differently, because we have invented assembly line. People from the craftsmen becomes like replaceable cogs in the machine. They are just doing simple replaceable jobs. So we were like this, cogs in the machines. We are not doing anything creative, just do simple job. And this problem is also connected that people invented the top-down structures, and also that the boss is at the top and say what to do, how to do it, and we have standardizations, micromanagement, grades, norms, everything. The only outcome of efficiency and profits, and there was no human in that equation. So I think that this sounds familiar nowadays, because we have this in normal companies, especially in corporations, but sadly also at schools, that we have everything standardized, and this is from the beginnings of 20th century, and we should change this. But who of you work in the place like I mentioned? I hope I found that there will be more people that work in the place where we are just making simple job and we are not matter, but it's okay, it's good. So I have also 4 another questions to you, and just think about deeply inside, and then I will ask you about if you can yes to these 4 questions. So do you feel that your work matters to your company? Yeah, okay, that's good. Do you feel that you matter to your company personally? Yeah, good. Yeah. Do you feel that you can make some decisions? Yeah, it's good. And do you feel that you are treated as a human being and can be yourself? Yeah, it's not so bad. I'm happy for you, but I think that the reality is not the happy as we are here. But also why? Why is that we cannot make some decisions, we cannot be ourselves, we have to have professional masks, why we sometimes don't matter to company. And I think that's because our bosses offer us only money. And if we get only money, then we only want to have more money because we don't have, we know that we cannot have anything more. So it's like a vicious circle. We are offered this, so we can only have this. And this is problem because where we are motivated only by money, but money not motivate us personally, we have problem and we are not motivated to make progress, to have to make better results. So we are not also recognized for our good work, because if we do something good, then it's success of the company. But if we make a mistake, then this is our fault. But I think that mistakes should be like lessons to be learned, not just mistakes that will be remember that we are making mistakes. And so if we are not recognized for a good work, we have problems also with motivation. So I think that to understand motivation, we need to go back to our needs. And the needs are can be divided into 4 categories. The first one is needs for benefits, and the key needs like money, belongings, and health. There are things that are necessary to live and to be at least happy. But when we have this, we can have and start to have ambitions. So we have better job, to have successes, to have some titles. And when we have this, that something changes, because we don't need that for happy, but we need something else. We need we have social needs. Then we need love, acceptance, and friendship. And we have this, and only this. We want to be proud of our actions, of our company, to challenge the status quo, and just to have this pride in ourselves. So, but without the previous steps, we cannot get this. And so this is the problem with motivation, I think, nowadays. And how should the optimal workspace looks like? And it's also quite simple, but not also like the obvious thing, that to workspace to be optimal, we need good tools to make, or proper tools to make good work. We need decent and righteous salary, not super high, but decent and righteous. And we need fine and friendly environment. And with these 3 things, we can also strive to have challenges, to have inspiring challenges, and to be proud of our actions. And this is escalating to the sky, and this is not limited. These things are not motivate us, but we cannot be motivated by this without this. So this is like, to be motivated, we need these 3 things. And if we don't have this money, or we cannot work properly because of lack of tools, or we have wrong society at work, for example, in corporations with rat race and other problems, then we cannot be proud of our actions and to want to make progress. So this is the problem. And I think that after World War II, the people invented some other ways to make business, not like in the factory, and they invented that we can make companies like based on democracy, but we also know the democracy is not the best system from all of them. But the main change was that we have flat organizations, so we want to be top down with many levels of organization, but quite flat, so we are equal. So it's quite good because now we were like family member, and I think it's much better to be a family member than cog in the machine. But also with this started problem, now will be video, so I hope that it will work. I think we know it.
Giving it back to you, the people. And we give it back to you, the people.
Yeah, so I think that this idea giving power back to people is quite noble, but I think that in mouth of radical capitalists and socialist gangster from Batman universe, it's not there was not their intention to give this power back to people, but to use this in some other purpose. And we have this also in the corporations, that they have noble ideas or noble values, but they are not true, or they are not present in present days. So also with democracy we have need of consensus, but also we know that consensus is not the best way to make these decisions, because it's slow, it's ineffective, and also that our knowledge and experience doesn't matter because everyone is equal. So for example in Brexit, the young people who are harmed because of this, but the older one decided. So with democracy we have many problems, and so I have question. So is there a better way to manage an organization, to be efficient, but also to be a human? And I think this is one of the biggest questions we now stand for, and I think that you know the answer because I am here. Yeah, and it's still. Yeah, so the Teal organizations or Teal management itself is based on 3 concepts, and Teal organizations are focused on being flexible and to know that everyone know what they should do, to be just the people should be yourself, and that everyone have common goal. It's 3 quite easy ideas, but connected make something big. But to achieve this, we need also some other things, that we have to get rid of typical managers, because we need leaders, not managers, and everyone can be a leader now. And also to be transparent, both financially and about decisions, and to continuously improve everything that can be improved, like in lean philosophy. And with these 3, which can be simple or occur that are simple, they are not simple, but with them we can change the world, or at least our organization. And this concept was written by Belgian scientist Frédéric Laloux in his book Reinventing Organizations, and he described he found many organizations in the whole world which were doing business differently, and he found that there was 3 fundamentals of them that were different from other companies. And the first one is self-organization, so that everyone, as I said, know what they should do. So because when we don't have boss anymore, the manager anymore, how we should know what we should do? So we need some procedures, we need some standards, we need that everyone will know what to do, because also we as a people, we know the best what we should do, but still we don't need managers to tell us that we need to do something now, but we just should feel responsible to do it now. And this is quite easy concept, but it's like agile, but not for the projects, but for the whole company. And when we have also this, and this also, for example, we need the flexibility, because the world is changing much faster now than ever. So also we don't need static job titles, but dynamic roles, and we can switch the roles, invent new roles, change people on the roles. So this we need to be more flexible than ever. And also we need also to change the structure, because we cannot have this multi-level organization, but for example flat structure or some nested circles with departments inside, and this also make us easier to provide this flexibility. And this maybe sounds magic, but it's not magic, because we need, as I said, processes, procedures, standards more than ever, but just to make that everyone knows what to do and how to do it, and to make this better each time, and we just need to this. But the problem is that it is not intuitive for us, because we are not taught at school or at normal work to have initiative, to be self-independent and to be responsible. And this is the problems now, that it's hard to find the people who are ready to this, to be in a self-organizing team or company. The second fundamental is wholeness. It's about being ourselves, truly ourselves, because we should say about our emotions, about our worries, about our weirdo hobbies, without anything that is connected with us, because it's making us more effective, and is also for us easier to be there and to enjoy just to spend there with people. And I will tell you a story. In 1996, American psychologist called Roy Baumeister conducted an experiment, and I will show you this experiment. Imagine that we are not after lunch and we are hungry, and he divided group into two parts. You are the first part, you are the second part, and you could eat chocolate cakes, unlimited, but you cannot. But you cannot. And you can look at it, touch it, smell it, but cannot eat for 2 hours. You can eat, you not. And we are all hungry. And after these 2 hours, he gave to all of them tasks to solve, some equations, some mental tasks. And the result was that this group tried twice as much and twice as long than this group, just because they didn't need to control themselves, and they can eat chocolate cakes. But it was not about chocolate cakes. They make another experiments without this, and that was just the self-control uses our mental energy, and with each day we have some mental energy, and we use it to making decisions, to self-control, and to make other things. So just because we are ourselves and we want to do what we want, not to have professional mask, we can be just more efficient than normal, just because we are ourselves. So this is, I think, that one of the biggest outcomes from also this whole Teal management, because we have self-organization, but this ourselves being ourselves, but this is just being more efficient, but also to be more happy that we can share our emotions and our personal life. But it's also not for everyone, like with the self-organization, but we can be more efficient. And I think that all of us want to be more efficient, and it is quite easy to be more efficient. And so, so this is like this. So just being ourselves is better. And the third fundamental, the last one, is the evolutionary purpose, because now we have problem, because when we don't have managers, where company should go, how we should know this. And normally we have mission, vision, and values and strategy. And now we also need still this, but in some different way, because what happened if we start treated company like a living organism, where we are like an organ and just help this organism to live, to evolve, to act, to move, to run. And so this is like basic concept, that our responsibility or our purpose is just to help something bigger than us, something that we are just part of them, live and evolve, because we need still to be evolving as a company. So this is like also another concept, that we are not thinking about company like the managers or the owners decide where it should go, but where company should go, like if it was another thing. And also this problem that if we don't have managers, how to ensure that everyone will do what they can to go in the same direction. And for example, in my company, we introduced that after each quarter, we share 10% of profits among all of the members. So, because one of the goals of the company, of course, is to make profit. So it's one of the tools we use to that everyone should go in the same direction. Also, of course, there should be another goals to exist, to company to exist, but also then they need some other tools that people should be motivated to go in the one direction. But this is one we used. Radek has another approach also working. So it's just depend what we need, what we want, and yeah. But this is also connected with the fourth fundamental that I recognized, that with transparency, and Radek will talk about this a lot, because we need transparency a lot about decisions, about financial situation of company, because we cannot expect from our people to make good or the best decisions when they don't know the context of the company, they don't know the situation of the financial situation of the company, so they cannot make good decisions. So they need to have this knowledge, and in Radek's company they know everything. In my company they knew almost everything. And also that because knowledge should matter, and this is very important, because then we have worries that something was made by one manager and we don't know why. If everything is clear and transparent, then we don't have this kind of problems. And also I want to tell you another story. This is about a company called Breva from Kalisz. They are a Teal organization that want everyone, that people and companies, to be self-independent from energy, and they installed the solar roofs. And the last summer they were hit almost like in this summer, and the CEO of this company suggest to whole team that maybe they will install the air conditioning because they didn't have in the office. And the team said that it's a good idea, but they don't think that this is a good time for this, because they don't have enough buffer of money for another things, and that this investment can be danger for the stability of the company. So they say no. And I think that, and we also had this similar situation that year. There was this heat that was enormous in Poland, and we have nice office on the third floor in the tenement house, but also without air conditioning. And also that I think that our example also showed that the change in the mindset of people, because in normal companies, the people will be mad or angry on the managers of the company that they have to work in such an environments without air conditioning. But when we are transparent and we are talking about this kind of things, that people know that it's up to us, all of us, that if we are making better results, we are making more money, then these good results occurs that company will be able to have another office, better office, bigger office with air conditioning. So it's not up to the company, but it's up to us. So I think that this is one of the biggest change because of the Teal management, that everyone is feeling responsible for the company, not just for themselves. And this is, I think, the very important thing. And also these two examples shows the decision making, that because we cannot vote, because we know from the democracy that voting is not efficient and is quite wrong, because knowledge or experience doesn't matter. So we need some other approach. And every company can make this process differently, but one of the most common way is just that someone who is feeling responsible for this problem, or find out that there is some problem or some change in the company, then this person asks everyone who is concerned about this issue or have experience with this issue, or for example have some responsibility with this issue, for example the financial manager. And if this person asks everyone, get the information, the opinions, that this person will make decision. And if there will be good decision, then is everything okay. But if there will be problem with this decision, then this person will have to fix this somehow. But this is like the definition of responsibility, just to make proper decisions, and if there are not proper decisions, that fix this situation. So if we know the fundamentals of Teal organizations, then there is also another question, how to start. And Frederic Laloux said about 2 requirements. The first one is the CEO, the mindset of the CEO, and the purpose of the CEO. That CEO needs to want to have Teal organization or just go to this direction, and to believe that he is able to do it, and to make the company, transform the company into something different than is now, for the sake of people and clients and business, not for the money itself. And also the owners that will need to believe in the CEO and to not back down on the first problems, because the problems will occur. So they need to believe that this change is mandatory and it had to come. And also this everything is connected with mindset, because we need to change mindset of the people at the top and down. But there should, we say there are people at the top and down, but people at the top, like managers, have to change their way they thinking, because they won't be bosses anymore. They need to become leaders, and they will lose power. So that's why this change can be difficult for many, because they are accustomed to have power, and now they don't have this. So this is the problem. But also we need to change mindset of everyone in company, because we need to communicate well and listen well. We need to be responsible for our actions, but also demand responsibility from others. We need to trust people, but also to be trustworthy. We have to make decisions, but also to help to make them by others. And we need to be ourselves and to be tolerant for others. And maybe some of you think that this is some kind of utopia, that this kind of companies doesn't exist. But my company works like this for some time. Radek's company works like this for 3 years. And the biggest Teal organization in Poland, Marco from Gliwice, is working like this for 18 years. So this is possible, and this kind of companies exist in the whole world. And I think that it's our turn to make this kind of organizations that are more efficient, but for example they focus on something bigger than just profits, to make a place that we can be ourselves and to be motivated at work. And I think that we should do it to make everyone be actively at work. And I believe that we can make companies where 100% not employees but associates can be actively engaged at work. And I think that I already done it, and I hope and believe in you that you can do it also. So this is all what I want to say, and thank you. I think that Radek now get the stage from me and say how this looks like in the practice, and the problems and the solutions, and he's doing this much longer than me, so yeah.